Welcome back. Day away from the LEC Grand Finals, and right now Fnatic seem poised to make G2 Fnatic feel like an inevitability, but Mad Lions, if they have anything to say about it, will stop them here. It's going to take 3 games back-to-back, complete reverse sweep for Mad Lions to turn the tide of this series, and it's a tall task for any team. The question is, what are they going to come back from after that game 2? Or what are they going to come back with after that game 2? Because we felt they were favored in the draft. A little bit out-executed, a little over-eager on some of those plays. Can they refine their style? Can they bring more to bear in what could be their final game?
I feel like game 1, it was very difficult with their mid-jungle picks. Game 2, they had so many lanes to play through and so many options, like literally a plethora of options, but they couldn't find that game-breaking lead to maintain map control. If I'm Mad Lions going into game 3, I think screw options, you know, just play scaling teamfight. Like, you can double down on this early game, but it's just too messy. You're dying on weak side when you're trying to cross map. You're not getting pushed in certain lanes, so they get frozen on, and then they just lose too much and bleed. I think just play some kind of teamfight comp.
I think it has to be control in bot lane. I mean, when you look back, game 1, Filio's Thresh didn't really work out. Look, it was draft, didn't make it easy for themselves. We can kind of get away with that. Game 2 was overextensions. You could see the play was happening mid. They didn't crash waves in time. They were punished by Razork, and it all came back to bite them. And when we look back over like XL, right, versus Mad Lions, it was Carzzy who was stepping up with insane stats, being the one that was taking Mad Lions on his shoulder and carrying them to cross the finish line. This time it feels like his feet have been cut out from underneath him. I feel like you need to try and play around this bot side, get control there, and lend yourself to what has made Mad Lions successful. The reason that they're at this position.
And when we look at the Mad Lions statistically, it raises a lot of questions, but it shows us a pattern of their gameplay. Their early games this year have not been great, usually behind at 14 minutes. Not a great sign from a team who has actually won a lot, but when you look at their team fighting, how proficient they are, their KDs in these multi-man scenarios, they're usually quite good. It's always about for them bringing it back in these team fights, but they're not drafting to fight the team fights. When you're picking the poke Varus, the poke Jayce, the Rumble, they have this sick combo. If they land it, you saw it in the previous game, it looks fantastic. But if they can't, well, the front line of Fnatic combined with that oppressive backline just doesn't give them a lot of room to maneuver. So I wonder if we see Mad Lions return to their roots, pick up something that you highlighted before, Dagda, in Carzzy's Sivir, give them the options to play these late game fights a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as much as like this Sivir thing was great by Carzzy, and like he made a massive team fight, and, you know, and he scaled to the point of becoming this machine gun Sivir because he had like an Ivern on his team as well. Yeah. That's a long time. Plus, that fight, I think XL was ahead, and they blundered like a 5k gold lead to get him in that point in the first place.
That's important context, yes.
So, like, to get to like this team fight potential style, their early games suck, and to get there, it's a mountain to climb. Like, Fnatic is going even in early games, in skirmishes, playing scaling champs when you're playing early game champs. And so that's why I think Dagda's right. Play through bot harder, yes, but also, like, you need a cohesive team comp. Like, this kind of makes sense, your comp here, but it was just way too all over the place in terms of how you were approaching plays. So I don't know, it's tough. I feel like Fnatic are more flexible in jungle. Nautilus blind pick is unstoppable right now for them. Their top laner is always just going to sacrifice themselves. So you're locked in this 4v4 game. And Noah will always pick Xayah. So Xayah, Nautilus again, I don't know, it just feels... It's hard to break. The Azir again.
I mean, they won with a draft we expected them to lose on. It certainly is tricky. Now, as an update, if you're wondering why we're not quite into picks and bans yet, Fnatic Trymbi is reporting issues with his sounds to league officials. Officials are currently investigating, so we'll beginning to pick and bans as quickly as we can. All players are in the lobby and ready to go as soon as we have confirmation.
Yeah, he's saying he can't hear the Mad Lions fans. So you have to try and get that fixed.
So, Rob,
Dagda!
when you go to...
Jesus!
These people are injured. They're in the bed in the hospital, and we need to believe in a full recovery right now, and you're trying to pull the plug, Rob. I respect the gumption, but that is cruel, sir.
Dagda.
You've been killing a few too many innocents in Baldur's Gate there, buddy. You're getting used to that moral compass being a little askew.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, at this stage, it's kind of like you had everything, all the tools that you need in the last game. I think it is a bit heartbreaking, but realistically, it's like, this is where Mad Lions, you should be cleaner. You should have been able to go, hey, look, if Elyoya is going to stick around for 30 seconds in the mid lane, we probably shouldn't be overextending that bot lane, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's these mistakes that it gets to a point where you're just like, as you say, the inconsistency is there, and it does build frustration to a certain extent where, for me, Mad Lions is a team that I want to believe in. Like, the players are so fun to watch. They're incredible personalities. The coaching staff behind them are the nicest people around, and they are so good at what they do. Well, but it's just, it builds that frustration where I'm just like, here, look, when are you guys actually going to try and get your everything together and actually make it good?
And it's hard when a team can't be consistent. You know what I mean? And it's hard when you lose game 1 and you can say to yourselves, draft issue. But when you go to game 2 and you look back at those replays and you look how that game played out, you know that it's execution. And now you failed in both regards at some point in this series. And if Mad Lions are able to mount a comeback here against Fnatic, it will make it that much more impressive, because they're going to need to show us something that we just have not seen yet in this series, which is that level of consistency to say, hey, we make a play on bottom side, we will concede top side. Or we will outplay, and we will make something out of nothing. And that's a tall task for any player, and certainly any player down 0-2 in a semifinal in front of a crowd like this.
It's tough. It's really tough. I mean, Mad Lions need to channel their inner brotherhood of spirits. You know, Elyoya and Carzzy have been through the trenches together over the past few years, so just need to stick together, try and find a plan, something that worked in scrims. I think they're taking too much responsibility these games, you know. It's on Fnatic to just sit back, punish your mistakes, happy days. You know, Chasy walks through a tri-bush, Razork gets a kill. Your bot lane's pushing up when Herald's being started, Razork gets a kill. And it's just, you have too much to juggle in these early games. You know, Nisqy Azir, bring it back, something like that. Get Elyoya on some kind of team fighter. Chasy can just play some kind of frontline and match Wunder, and get Carzzy on a hyper carry, and hope that everything falls into place, because right now, being the ones in the driver's seat isn't working.
Yeah, I'd love to see something like a Nocturne Eco comp or something come out. Look, it may not be the highest or like the most highly rated jungle mid pick at the moment, but I mean, we saw it work a hell of a lot over in the LCK. I mean, it's getting Elyoya onto something where he can kind of step up and be a bit more of a carry, because I honestly think with the way the meta is tilted at the moment, it just doesn't really suit what Elyoya wants to go for. But I think sometimes, like, you can let a meta define you, or you can define the meta. And I think at this stage, it's a case of stepping up and actually taking control and saying, look, this is our style, this is how we play, and look, it may not suit everyone, but this is what we're going to make work, and this is the game you have to do it.
Yep.
If you don't have anything left in the tank, well, what the hell are you going to bring to the table?
And if you are just joining us, this is a wonderful audience. We are still in a delay. Fnatic, Trymbi, still reporting issues with the sound. League officials are working on it. Obviously want to resolve that before we head into a match point scenario.
I can see Humanoids. He's got the full tilt on the chair. He's arms around the back of his head. He knows he's on match point. He is relaxed. And it was Fnatic against Rogue, I believe it was, where Fnatic get the first win. Everything looks great last year. Collapses, 3-1 loss. And Humanoid said, I've never really won on a big stage. If you think about it, Mad Lions and Humanoid, their success came from COVID. The year of COVID, where they won 2 titles.
Well, okay,
and then,
phrasing is important.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not saying that's why they won.
In that era,
but in that era,
they found
won
success.
in studio settings, in home settings, and then in spring they won in a studio setting again. It's like one of the first times we actually have Mad Lions and their players in a big arena. Obviously, they've been to Worlds, but on a roadshow like this, Humanoid said, I've never really won.
Yeah, and I think that it's crazy to look back the last time Fnatic made it to a finals, which they're on the cusp of doing. And it was in very similar fashion to what this Fnatic roster are doing here. You know, tough season overall. They were knocked out by Excel in summer in a very lackluster series. They bring it back. 5-game series win. 5-game series win. In our previous format, there was another 5 games. This time around, they don't have to play quite that many. But now they're on the cusp of 3-0ing. Mad Lions, just like they did Rogue in 2021 before ultimately falling in the finals. And you start to wonder, like, Fnatic just feel like they will always find a way to show up. Maybe not always in the best form, maybe not always spectacularly, but they will always find results when it matters most.
But that's what the thing, it's like, think about how much they've gone through, right? Like, Wunder was initially stuffed out. You had Advian, who was gone. Then you end up with, like, Reckless taken out as well. The coaching staff was gone. Now, you've Oscarnan has had to sit out, and then you're bringing Wunder back in. Like, the amount of changes that this roster has had to go through, and kind of, well, very quickly wrap everything up into a bundle that at least is able to perform. And not only have they performed, they kind of excelled in that regard as well, especially when you look at the performances they have had today, and now potentially 1 game away from joining G2 tomorrow.
And for that, we're going to have to see. But for now, as the pause continues, as we wait for the issue to be resolved, we'll send it back over to Sjoks and the analyst desk to talk more about the series thus far.
Yes, thank you so much. As said, Trymbi was reporting audio issues, so they are triaging right now. We hope we can get back into game quickly, but Mad Lions are probably like, yeah, we need some more time.
I see. This is where I disagree. I feel like everything's stacked Fnatic. They're up 2-0. They get a
Fnatic pause.
Fnatic pause.
Fnatic pause hack.
They did it in-game. Now it's out in between games. They're doing it all.
No.
Mad Lions are quaking over there.
Is are there people who don't know about the lore of the Fnatic pause hack?
What is? I don't even know.
I don't even know which
You were
one it
part
is.
of the roster, weren't you, Yamato?
Yeah,
It was
yeah. Well,
the
basically,
original.
I don't know if I
was
should. I don't know if I should say this.
Yeah, well,
But
then
do it.
don't.
It was the,
I'll
we're
just
ready.
say it.
We're ready to toss back. He's
All
not
right.
going to say it. All right. Back to the casters. Back to the casters. Let's go.
Well, there it is. The secrets of Yamato remain the secrets of Yamato, sadly. I wanted to know the deal.
I have a secret. And toss.
And toss. Yeah, kind of rude. Just don't say you have a
I
secret.
thought you were about
next
to
time
tell
around.
your secret by going, oh yeah, I have a secret.
I have a
was like,
suspicion.
I think the Fnatic poll started around the Rise. I remember the Rise ult incident.
Ah, true. When you
That's
click
when it
in or
was
click
like,
out.
you know,
Some of
click
those
in,
features.
click out being Rise ulted away and Rise ulted not away, and then, you know, the whole, it was like the Whippo roster, wasn't it? But
Ooh, but there it is. Picks
Great
and
for that.
bans. Potentially one last time. Let's see if Matt can make the reverse sweep happen. Once again, on the blue side, their side of choice. It has not worked out thus far, but they will try again nonetheless. Tristana LeBlanc banned away. Maokai would be keeping in the trend of things we've seen previously, but Renekton instead will be the option.
We've still seen a lot of Renekton bans coming out over the course of this, so nothing too surprising. Rumble going to be taken away, which is a little bit more surprising. I mean, obviously, Chasy had some good ultimates in the last one, but it's definitely going to be Fnatic a third time in a row now mixing up the bans.
I think the Rumble covers off Jayce first pick, and Wunder's champion pool for competitive right now just gets destroyed by Rumble, right? If Renekton's down and he's playing Poppy and tanks, doesn't really have good picks into it.
And it's good to recognize what went right in the previous game, and it was execution, not necessarily composition from Fnatic.
And Talia's such a huge pick. Game 1, Humanoid. Game 2, Razork. Get rid of it. Game 3.
And now the question is, what is the priority from Fnatic with the Talia removed? What do they want to take away here? Rell and Ivern both up and available. Fnatic can ban one, but I think it's more likely that they leave both open at this stage.
Also the Maokai as well. So Ivern gone, do you just go for the other tree instead? I think Maokai
Go for the other tree.
very, very strong. And I think he just gives so much control, and especially for Mad Lions, we're talking about front-to-back team fight. That's exactly what you get with a Maokai.
But you get Rell. Fnatic get Rell. And I'm not sure how scared of that I am as Mad Lions, because Razork's only got one game of it, but it's Trymbi I'm going to keep my eye on for the Rell flex. I really like Razork on these carry junglers. But that's a lot of engage, and Jayce is up. If Humanoid, he's got 10 games on Jayce so far. They can do some kind of Jayce Rell if they want. Zaya's open, Rakan's open.
Rell
There's
Jayce.
Rell,
And
yeah.
again, this just seems like yes, it is stock standard, but both of these picks have been very powerful for anyone picking them up, most certainly, and especially for Humanoid.
I mean, he hasn't had the best of success in season finals, though. Only able to pick up 1 out of 4 wins on that. One win in 4 games. I think, though, you respond here with the Zaya pick coming through here for Carzzy in that bot line. Get good control for yourself. And then I think the question mark is what exactly do you want to try and go for? Well, it's going to maybe be the mid lane, but I'm curious to see when we come into this next ban phase, if Mad Lions start to ban away things like the Braum and try and set up for an Alistar pick for themselves. Responds well to the Rell, you get good engage onto the rest of the team. And as long as you can get rid of the Braum pick, you're actually setting yourself up super nicely for this.
This is more like it, Mad Lions. Engage, backline DPS, front to back, get some front line going, maybe take a Nautilus here. Bit scared of the Braum, but I feel like Trymbi's Nautilus has been a bit annoying. The Zaya can work as well. Alistar is also good, you know, just some engage support. This is what we're talking about. Get Carzzy on a hyper carry. Chasy will play a tank, just fight fire with fire. But there's the Karthus jungle.
Speaking of fire.
Now, they won't have a volatile top here, Fnatic. I think Wunder will play a tank, but I think Kalista needs to be taken away if I'm looking at this draft. You know, Kalista all in bot side. Any kind of AD that can step up. Draven, you know, I'm not sure if Noah wants to bust that out. So I'm just going to check. Does he have any games on it? No, he doesn't. But yeah, if those two are down anyway, the Zaya is another option. They just need aggression now, Fnatic.
But I do like what Mad Lions are bringing to the table, right? My biggest concern was a Braum pick coming through. I wouldn't be surprised to see that banned away here on this next rotation, just to give yourself really good control over bot side. Alistar prevents a lot of what Rell wants to do. You've got great engage as well for kind of the long-range DPS that Fnatic want to try and play with the Jayce and Karthus. So again, you're more than likely going to see Wunder try and go for some sort of tank to the top side. But if you're able to engage onto this 4-man unit as Mad Lions and what you have, I mean, Wunder on a tank isn't going to mean anything.
Are they going to play Ezreal? Are they going to play Ezreal Rell? Poppy ban comes through. Kalista would be great. But I think they're maybe leaning to an Ezreal here, Fnatic. With Jayce poke, Karthus ult, and with Sivir Neela bans against Alistar, I think Ezreal is just like such a safe option. Outranges both is safe, but Kalista's the aggressive option. Against Alistar Maokai, it's tough though. You get locked down, you're gone. Ezreal is much more self-sufficient and has poke. Kalista's just play through bot and try and stomp the early game.
Fnatic have had the luxury of scaling.
Yeah,
in a lot
go
of
the
these
safe
games.
option.
So
Yeah,
there you
there's
go.
no reason. Why would you go Kalista into Alistar Maokai? You can still bolt bot, yeah, but Ezreal just provides so much more.
And what top laner are they going to pick to round this one out? Because we have a ton of poke between the Karthus Requiem as well as the accelerated shock blast, the true shot barrage, and the just general range of Ezreal with Mystic Shot. They're going to be able to do something similar to what we saw from Mad Lions in the previous game. The difference being they have almost more poke potentially with the Karthus, but less reliable engage.
I think a Gnar blind is good here for Chasy. You're against tanks. He's going to go for Xante, but you're against tanks, and it's self-sufficient against tanks, the Gnar. So now it's on Mad Lions for AD last pick. Kai'Sa Alistar seems like the easy option with Azir, you know. They're just teasing the Kalista here. I think it's a bit risky to go for it, but yeah, I mean, Wunder will just last pick a tank top. You know, he's been playing Poppy Renekton in solo queue, 2-band away, Xante blind. Wow, they went Kalista.
For the first time in the season finals, Carzzy busting out the Kalista. I am completely caught off guard by this pick overall. This is not a champion that I typically think of when I think of Carzzy as a player, but it is an excellent bridge. It's a power point in the early game to further help the bot side of the map. Maybe they can leverage that strength to put Nisqy in a position to carry mid lane.
Malphite here is kind of good, you know. Malphite has the Kalista. He's going to go for Ornn as well. I mean, the pullback of the ult is going to slow the Kalista, which already hinders her team fight, but yeah, that Kalista pick is risky. They could have gone the safe route. Let's play Kai'Sa Alistar into Rell. We're probably safe. We get some AP items, you know, we can play the front to back, but the Kalista puts a spanner in the works for volatility this game.
Yeah, I think as well, though, it just helps out with getting a lot more engage off, right? You can just send the Alistar in, make sure that he's going to be able to set yourself up, because I think for Mad Lions, they kind of realize, look, as long as we can close that gap and get the fight going, we're going to be in a great spot. So I think having the Kalista there not only gives you control over bot and mid with the Azir for early Dragon fights and early Dragon setup, you can now guarantee almost that you will get these fights because of the amount of distance this Alistar can control.
Will it be enough for Mad Lions? That is the question. Match point for Fnatic. They need to win one of the next 3 potential games to secure themselves a spot in the finals tomorrow against G2 Esports. Mad need the perfect sweep. 3 games back-to-back. No room for error. No room for losses. It's a lot of pressure. Betting everything on one final composition here. The Kalista for Carzzy. Champion I've not seen from him in a very long time, but confidence from him to bust it out in an elimination game.
Some of these signs crack me up.
But here we are, match point for Fnatic, game 3. Let's get into it. Here we are, onto the Rift. Breaking news, Mad Lions on the cusp of a difficult trip home. Fnatic pulling out, no stops here. As at this exact moment, there's a pause.
It's Trymbi pausing again. I think he's been having a few issues with his headset. Maybe it's an audio problem again, but we're going to be in another pause as we wait for Game 3 to start.
And there are a number of iconic teams, organizations, and fans in Europe, and none more than this fine gentleman. I hate Moo Cow, Alistar. I hate playing against it. I hate the sound of that cowbell and the emote spam and the fact that I can't mute it. Please, Riot Games. But in this venue, it's awesome.
Definitely going to add to the tension and build up at least a little bit, but can also break it with that sound. But I think honestly, I just want to get into this game. I mean, the fact we have what again from Mad Lions feels like them going back to comfort. You've got great DPS across the board. You got the ability to try and play around the spot lane, which is exactly what we wanted from them. And you're going up against Fnatic, kind of what they have started to bring to the table more and more, which is this like triple threat compositions. It feels like both teams have kind of found their comfort, and now it's just a case of whether Mad Lions can get that first step on the road to that reverse sweep.
It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a tough one when it starts here. I'm just kind of worried about this Kalista, you know. Kalista struggles against poke.
Well,
you know, the things that make Kalista's life hard are things like GP ults and Rumble ults and things like...
And a Karthus wall of pain.
A Karthus wall of pain, a Karthus ult, Rell engages, Ornn ults, and Ezreal ults, Jayce poke. Like, this is hard. He needs to get in range quick.
And we talked about, with the struggles of mid and jungle coming into this series, we thought Carzzy might need to be the difference maker. And in this game, he certainly needs to be. He needs to break open bottom lane, and he's doing it on one of the hardest champs to do it on. Kalista, notoriously an incredibly difficult pick to play in pro play. On top of that, you need to be flawless in every fight. You need to be auto attack spacing every single Mystic shot, sidestepping every Jayce Q, and not letting him ever get into range and hammer form. This is such what feels to be an impossible game to play, but they're already on the cusp of a 3-0 defeat, so why not bet it all on one final game? And frankly, like you said, Rob, I just want to see if Carzzy can do it, if he's up to the task at hand.
I just want to take a moment to appreciate the crowd. You know, it's been a lot of pauses, but their energy's been maintained. You can see, even in this pause, just a sky full of lights and stars from the crowd as they patiently wait for this game 3 to come through. Energy is electric, and it's just a great sight to see.
Yeah, it's a fantastic. I mean, you highlighted the signs, the phones back and forth, the environment in here next to none. And I'll say yesterday it's a tough act to follow, but I never get tired of seeing the passion of esports fans in a venue like this. No matter what language they speak or what team they're excited about, it's just, there's nothing quite like this experience.
I mean, especially like even up here, it's not the roar that you hear. It's just the reverberation through your entire body when that crowd goes wild.
Yeah,
like it is electrifying.
It's primordial bass is what I was thinking earlier. It's just something deep inside of us. I think you just respond to it. It just feels different when you're actually here. And also, of course, you have like a massive subwoofer at home. Maybe then you can replicate just a sliver of what it's like. That said, obviously, you know, it's been a tricky day in terms of pauses. Players seem to be keeping good mental on stage and have to hope that for Mad Lions it's not going to phase them whatsoever.
That's just pandering.
That is pandering. Not that we at the LEC are above that, given that we also just showed that. When have we ever pandered? Well, that's enough from us as we wait to see when the issue is resolved. We're sending it back over to the analyst desk.
No, not those guys.
Also,
Hi,
if the... No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God. Yes, annoying. We agree. We want to see it. So now is it bad for good for Matt or what? It's just bad for both teams actually now.
There's so many pauses.
Yeah.
It's good for nobody. Both power through.
Yeah.
It's great for me because I get to soak in the crowd a little bit more.
It's awesome.
Like, I'm really sorry for fans who can't be here because the French crowd is always electric. But in this arena, yesterday they were insane. They continue that energy today. It's such a pleasure to be here.
I was like, the people forget that the French are insanely good fans regardless. They forgot. And also you, mister, on Twitter, oh, this is the real LEC Finals. You were on the desk. Yeah. And, you know, to be fair, it was really insane yesterday, but this is pretty good as well.
Yeah, this is pretty insane. You got the Nisqy fans, the Fnatic fans.
Sad Lions, he made that just now.
No, actually, I mean, there's a lot of Mad Lions fans in the audience today. I saw one guy running through the arena when the Mad roster was being announced, trying to get all the hype.
One guy? Okay.
Yeah, one guy. But,
no.
I mean, I think that we see...
They love your points.
The adaptations that Mad has tried to make, it seems that Fnatic has answered in kind once more. The fact that they put such a high priority on the Rell, the fact that they were able to grab themselves the Karthus as an answer to the Maokai, it feels like that Fnatic are in the driving seat again, where the longer this game goes, the better it's going to be for them.
I think the crucial thing here is that I need to tell you guys my secret, you know, because in the end, you know.
Heck, we need to go back. Casters?
What?
Right, did he have a secret?
Tell us the secret!
Yamato! You timing genius. He knew that was going to happen. Master of presentation. Okay, where were we? Everybody just joining us. Fnatic 2-0. They won with a better draft. They won with a worse draft. They're looking nigh unbeatable at this moment in time. But Mad Lions need to MacGyver themselves 3 back-to-back victories to take themselves to the finals tomorrow. It is going to be a tough task. And a lot of eyes now fall on the bottom laner, Carzzy, with the Kalista coming through. Champion has not played for quite some time. He's put up some stellar results on it historically, some great games against Misfits rosters back in the day if you want to go that far back, but he needs to show us the best version of himself in this game, or it could be the final one.
It has to be trying to get control over this bot side. At the moment, knowing Trymbi stepping forward, they know that they win the level 1.
Or face check.
You have to be careful. Alistar don't really do much in the early stages when he's level 1.
Yeah, it's either Q flash or hug your tower, buddy. You know, are you going in or are you going out? So this bot matchup, really hard to get onto the Ezreal. Noah even running the heal to make sure he's safe. But again, Kalista needs to get ahead. Kalista's going to struggle against all this range of Fnatic. But Fnatic only really have one kind of pushing lane at the moment. Looks like it's mid. Bot's going to be contested. Razork started bot side though, so he's kind of sacking that side of the map, just making it so sometimes these AP junglers, you have to be selfish. You have to drop lane and say, you know what, you guys get dope, just back off, give up the wave, I need to farm. And I think we're going to see a stacking wave on bot. I'm not sure if we can get the camera down there soon because, yeah, big stacking wave bot. Elyoya 3 top camps. They need to execute something, but looks like Elyoya is actually going to go for a top side invade. He's going to level up here. Trymbi
going back, now the punt back into the waiting arms of Carzzy. Ignite still ticking. Trymbi trying to run out to safety. Carzzy using the Rend, but not quite able to finish the job there. Just trading the flashes as well as the Ignite. So up a summoner spell for the side of Fnatic, but down a lot of health.
I like that they went for Trymbi though, because in this grand scheme of things, Ezreal hits level 2, he takes Arcane Shift, you're not really going to be able to get in on top of him. So having the flash early burnt on Trymbi actually gives a lot more control to Carzzy in the lane as well.
Can we just look at the minimap? Razork's finished his full clear on Crux right now. I'll hang on my point for a second. Humanoid might be in trouble, but Elyoya's done 3 camps. Razork is full cleared, and he's recalling. Like, this is, you know, the Maokai solo style on the top side. The clear speed right now is horrific for Elyoya.
And you have to feel for Elyoya because Razork has just been getting the better of him in this series. In Game 2, he was obviously a complete and total monster. And in this game, you're playing Maokai. Your job is to gank. It's to force these plays. It's to be aggressive. And if you don't get something done, if Humanoid plays with respect to the mid lane like he did just there, then you're just falling further and further behind.
So what will happen here is Razork will run out mid, maybe go to one side for a crab, but both sides are pushing in, so it's a 50-50 guess. I'm guessing he's going to go towards bot side, see if he can match the Maokai. And Elyoya's going to rock up down a level, or down in items. So he's just going to have to give. So you have all this bot push, you have all this mid push, but Razork's just faster because of his champion. This isn't Elyoya's fault. I mean, he could have maybe full cleared from bot to top with a small leash, but then you're pathing away from Kalista. So, and he tried to look for an invade, but by the time he walked into this top side, he realized the Karthus is probably finished. So
Humanoid,
lose.
I think for Elyoya though, chances are we're going to see him take this grab, reset, go for his bot side Krugs, and then maybe look for a play off the pushing waves that you're going to have with Carzzy and Hilly. I think that is probably going to be your best bet, as Razork will spot out that Elyoya is on this top side, but Elyoya needs to get a reset in before he really tries to go for it.
And you might be thinking like, Razork cheekily trying to get some XP. You might be thinking like, well, if Elyoya clears his Krugs out or his second respawn wolves now, they're even, right? Well, no, because Razork's camps are going to respawn faster, right? So it's an exponential growth of like cycling through camps and clearing them faster and endlessly finding level leads. Razork even going to go for his level 1 Krugs here. Now sometimes taking away level 1 Krugs isn't the best. Obviously on Karthus it's great, but on tank junglers you waste time and you give him a level up on a camp. But now Razork, what's he going to do? Run back to his bot side, full clear back up if there's no bot play available, and he'll be very close to level 6.
and Razork pushing the mid wave to make sure that Humanoid has mid prio, trying not to take CS away. Even if it felt like he was stealing away some XP there, manages to go down, takes the camp away, and Fnatic very comfortable in this strategy. We saw it last week. I was caught off guard by how much more they showed, but right now they're just copying so much of their winning formula from the previous week.
It also just takes away a lot of these camps on the bottom side that make it worthwhile for Elyoya to stay down here, right? You don't have your Krugs now to go and take off your reset. Your Raptors are going to be up, but realistically, that's kind of it. So then you're going back top, and when this whole composition, we said, is to try and play around Carzzy and Hilly, the less time Elyoya has to spend on this bottom side, the better it's going to be for Noah and Trymbi.
Look at this vision. They have a map hack right now, Fnatic. They see exactly where Elyoya is. And the worst part of all of this is if Elyoya spends too much time on this bot side and doesn't get anything, Razork can take his top camps. And this is where it just endlessly becomes worse and worse and worse. The respawns are faster, the clear is faster, everything's getting quicker and quicker and quicker. Razork's going to finish Raptors, move the Krugs. I don't think he'll get 6, but what he can also do as Karthus sometimes is when you're close like this, just hover top for 5 seconds, take some XP from the wave, reset with the level 6 threat, and show the enemy team that you're 6, you know? You want to say like, hey, if you all in this bot side and you mess it up, you're dead.
But those wall hacks are going to come back for favor of them, right? Because they haven't seen Elyoya go back into his jungle, so Razork is pretty aware that there isn't, that the Mad Lions are going to be on the Dragon. So he is going to go for the reset though, pretty low in mana, but again, like, they have full information that this is going down, and you can actually try to path accordingly here as Razork again getting a very nice back in. Lost Chapter Net picked up for him, and he's going to come back onto his bot side right as the Blues respawn.
What I will say though is Razork has no pushing lanes and he has no options. You know, no setup mid, top setup's too difficult, bot setup, you don't really have the vision to pull it off. So as much as he's power farming and we're highlighting how great it is, contesting these objectives isn't going to get any easier until we get towards a couple of items on these laners.
And when we look back to the Karthus, people remember the Game 2 a lot more than they remember the Game 1, but the Game 1 was a similar state where Fnatic had horribly losing lanes, and Razork was not really able to be a threat whatsoever. See if Mad Lions can replicate some of the success.
Razork's being greedy here.
previous series. He certainly is. Humanoid off to the side, though, poking down Nisqy pretty significantly. Trymbi on the way down. Hyilissang in there as well. Flash out of safety from Razork. Hyilissang now fishing for the stun. The knockup now going to come through, denying Trymbi as well. Razork burning slowly but surely, but now the passive coming out. Death denied, but not for nearly long enough. Humanoid waiting over the wall. Hyilissang has nowhere to go. Fnatic, what else can they get done in the meantime? The flash out, the taxi to safety, the pushback, the bounce house as Nisqy desperate to find the kill, but Humanoid, blinking health bar, will walk away at the end of the day. It's 2-0 for Mad Lions. But Carzzy now in trouble. Trying to make it out. Elyoya waiting in the darkness. Kill not quite done yet. Noah getting lower and lower when it comes to mana. He's running out of time and options. Noah, has he overstayed? Hex Flash coming in. Noah will not step forward. Hyilissang on the retreat. Mad walking away.
Walking away happy. 2 kills coming out of that play. They get the Scuttle Crab as well coming through for Elyoya, so he's going to be able to get himself a little bit more farm. But that was so close to disaster. But these little moments that came in clutch are going to be coming through from Hilly here. Elyoya, as Caedrel was saying, managed to get onto Razork as he's being a bit greedy. Hilly doesn't use the knock-up, but manages to interrupt Trymbi off the back of this as well. Gets the stun onto Razork. And then here, they're trying to play forward, but because of the position of the Karthus ult, it makes it very difficult for them to actually try and engage onto this. But Hilly, what a play. Flashes in onto Humanoid. The knock-up is a bit desynced as you get the knock-up from Nisqy and Hilly at the same time, so Humanoid gets to escape. But on the opposite side, it's a win for Matt.
They tried to do the Fnatic to Fnatic. You know, the double knock-up push back, but they didn't have the damage to take down Humanoid. Gets away, but yeah, overstep from Razork, greeting for that crab. He doesn't have any lanes of push. Even Humanoid was under tower despite Nisqy being very low, so the Alistar will collapse first. And Alistar Maokai, level 1 to 6, high base damage, a lot of CC.
And Hyilissang stepping up. Trymbi has to be careful here. Stun auto attack going to come through in a moment. Trymbi just barely able to make it out, but that's level 6 now coming in. Hyilissang.
Look at Razork though on the top side.
Flash out as well, and on the top side, Razork now going to be in trouble with the knockback coming through. Elyoya and Nisqy working together in perfect tandem. Lane Prio comes through. They find the kill next to the Herald. And Carzzy, what the hell, Carzzy? Too aggressive, taken down in the blink of an eye. And now Hyilissang, what was a beautiful play in the jungle before, now he's throwing his life away.
They had nowhere to run, they'd nowhere to hide. Humanoid was on his way down. Nisqy committed top side. Humanoid said, fantastic, I can go for the bot lane. And again, Mad trying to split the map too many ways, and it comes back to bite.
If I was Nisqy, I'd be absolutely livid right now. You're roaming from mid with push to top, killing the enemy jungler and securing Herald. You look bot and your bot lane's trying to dive in between towers when Jayce is hovering down towards the bot side, and it's like, guys, we have a free kill and a free objective. Why are we making 2 plays on both sides of the map at the same time when resources are invested top? It looked great for Carzzy and Hyilissang, and these moments of 2v2, yes, you're winning and you can force summoners and you can try and look for these sexy dives, but Humanoid just comes down and puts a stop to the play. Look where mid jungle are, and look where on the minimap where the Mad Lions bot lane is, and you're thinking to yourself, guys, this play is so winning, why do we have to be greedy bot side?
They were on the cusp of having their cake, and just having the cake, and that could have been enough. They tried to eat it too. They could have eaten it later, but instead,
they tried to one-shot the cake, Drakos.
Yeah.
They took the whole thing and tried to one-bite it.
Just share. Just take your time. And it's like,
cut it in half.
It starts good. You got the flash. You got the flash when you shouldn't be making a play.
They can get out here.
Yep.
No, they're going to go in.
And here we go. There it is.
And I think they just realized.
I mean, it's so close. Like, one more auto on a Trymbi, and that might have been a very different play. But you just didn't need to take the risk.
Yeah.
And credit to Fnatic for punishing, recognizing the overstep. Trymbi for managing to make that CC work despite being in a blinking low health ball.
I feel like for Mad Lions, it's the camera pans 1 step forward, the camera pans again 1 step back, and it's like, it's such a push and pull on these sides for the early games.
It's just like a will they, won't they in a sick. You know, are they going to get together, are they not for Mad Lions? It's like, are they going to try to make 2 plays at the same time, or are they not? And they could just stick to one play, man. You just got to stick to one thing.
And will they? Please don't. On the other side, it's just like, just leave it be. You've already got it now. Noah, though, will end up spotting that there's a lot of members of Mad Lions down here, but I mean, there's not really much that Mad are going to be able to position themselves for at this case.
I think the important thing here is Mad Lions' jungle is even. Despite having a camp lead, Razork's not far ahead in levels. He hasn't found a good ult window, and there's no volatility in the game for Karthus. They've already got a dragon. 2nd dragon spawning, easy pickup. They've got mid to bot pressure. The map state's great for Mad. They just need to stop making these silly mistakes, and they can start really pressuring Fnatic here. This is match point, you know, they're out if they lose this. They need to be very cautious on how they take plays, and they're in a great state. Chemtech, Mountain, they're looking at Infernal, they're looking at Hextech.
2 out of 3 are incredible. Cloud, certainly not bad when the ults are going to be that pretty important in this game overall, especially for an Alistar who doesn't have Aftershock. But Would love to see an Infernal. Ocean, I forgot about Ocean.
A lot of poke, not the worst. But still, yeah, Mad Lions need to hold this control. You see Razork on a cross map, look where he is. He's in their top side jungle, but he can't gank top. They don't even have the damage. And as soon as he shows, his bot lane has to give everything because they know exactly where jungle is. So it's about Razork hiding and holding on.
And I think a lot of it is going to be as well, like Humanoid trying to see, well, as he clears out wards, getting control over mid lane and trying to be like a second jungle, right? Where it's like, okay, I can try and hover around this bot side and make sure that with the push I have in mid, I can actually keep this bot lane safe, try and prevent dives, prevent potential towers going down as well. But you do have to try and find something here as Fnatic, because even though we're kind of saying, look, Mad are kind of fumbling the ball a little bit, they're still up, as you say, 2 dragons. They still have full control over the Rift Outlets and that, and they can still look to snowball this game.
They're pushing bot, they have pushing top, they have so much passive vision control from Maokai Saplings. With Demonic Embrace, the damage is solid. It's not everything, but you talked about it. The Karthus needs to stay hidden, he needs to stay unpredictable. Impossible to do when you have a bunch of cats.
Where's he going, Razork? This is really risky. Trying to stop bases, trying to get vision, waiting for Crab. Oh, the deadly Crab.
Razork stepping in. Trymbi can't really do anything to stop this. Razork now flashing out safety, desperately trying to hold on. Trymbi also on the retreat. Nisqy looking for an angle. Keep your eyes on the Azir. Where's he going to go? Humanoid steps in. Right into the slaughterhouse. The pushback won't happen. Duskblade denies it. Fnatic managed to fire back.
TP. Look at Humanoid as well.
Wunder now coming in, Carzzy blinking low health bar, Hyilissang in trouble as well, that's the knockup now coming through, Noah manages to grab the kill, it's disaster for the Mad Lions, Wunder wants to keep this one going, Hyilissang blinking health bar, but Noah there to finish it off, Hyilissang will fire back and get a kill onto Wunder, but it's just a mess in the mid lane.
And the gold goes to the right members, the Jayce and the Ezreal are gonna take off when they're accelerated, Chasy doesn't TP in, he looks for plates, Wunder punishes a no-flash Kalista, and they overgroup and overchase into Razork. I thought he was dead. I thought that was an easy pick, but the passive does a lot of work. The ult does a lot of work as well, and it's Noah on the Ezreal just dishing damage over the wall. And Mad Lions, again, they fumbled the early game a little bit.
Yeah, but it's again, as you say, Razork goes down, but he's kind of dying in these choke points so consistently that his Mad are all grouped up in here. This is the perfect spot for a Karthus, right? You're getting a lot of damage off, and as well, Noah in a perfect position. The Duskblade denying that knockback is huge. And then with the TP coming through, they already know that they're going to be in a great spot to follow up for this. As Carzzy, everyone is just that bit too low.
Respect to Wunder, Flashy knows he might die, but Ezreal will get a kill out of this, and that's all that matters. The Ornn falling behind doesn't matter at all. Yeah, no, I didn't get a lot of damage out of the start as much as I thought he did. It was really just Razork melting through them. But yeah, arrived at the right time to pick up these freebies. And now the Ezreal's even in gold with the Kalista, the Jayce is ahead of the Azir, the Karthus is slowly finding a lead. And yeah, the damage from Fnatic, those 3 cores of the Karthus, Jayce, Ezreal is really all that matters.
And they're getting their core items as well. You're looking at Duskblade, you're looking at the Triforce, the Andrew's Anguish now completed. So as you start to look towards the next dragon in 2 minutes time, well, suddenly you're able to shove out midway, you're able to start to look to contest this. And for Fnatic, that's all they really wanted, to try and get to this position where they can actually contest Mad Lions on objectives.
Chase needs to get involved. Top tower is going to go down. Fnatic will cross map for a bot tower, but he'll get first tower. And Herald's up soon. But Mad, their win condition now is dragons. It's the dragon game, and Fnatic needs to be on their toes for when Mad Lions try and set it up. The poke is ruthless from Fnatic, so Mad Lions need to be quick to pull the trigger.
Fnatic now starting to replicate one of their many formulas for success that we've seen thus far this year, and that is funneling resources to Humanoid, dropping him on a side lane, putting money into his back pocket. Chasy and Carzzy together. Carzzy did a lot of work in the early game to keep Matt close, to keep Matt even, as you needed to see from Kalista. Maybe not enough, though, and now it's on Chasy, who had so much time alone, who has a 1.3k individual gold lead to take over this game.
I think Fnatic need to fight this Herald, because if they give this, they're giving Dragon as well, because Mad will get so much mid-push with the Herald usage, so Fnatic are walking up. Not level 11 on the Karthus yet, so there's a lot of
Hyilissang over the wall, manages to find the Karthus, but the Death Defy is going to keep him relevant in this fight for much longer than they anticipated. Wunder throwing the ult out just to disengage. Chasy on the front line.
Where are the shock blasts? Where's the Ezreal Qs? They need to start landing onto Mad Lions, but they're going to back away. They stop the Herald. That's all that matters for Fnatic.
They stop the engage as well. Mad Lions don't have anything to really throw in here unless it's going to be that Alistar, but he's kind of looking low, so at the moment Fnatic just get to use that poke that they wanted to.
Humanoid isolated.
Oh, everyone's splitting up here.
Knows that Humanoid has no flash from the previous play. Nisqy has no flash either, though, so doesn't quite have the angle to shovel him back into Elyoya. Herald will fully reset. But this is the poke you talked about. Humanoid not throwing down any shock blasts, but Noah for now can just throw out Mystic Shots and fish for poke.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Mad Lions are so low. Just invest the Karthus ult, get first strike gold, push them back, start Herald. It's just a case of Is Fnatic going to be in time for Dragon here? This is risky. They could have ran straight towards that pit and rushed it, but they're greeting for Herald into Herald mid into Dragon, but Humanoid has no TP, so this could come back to bite them. They might be on soul points here, Mad Lions, for Fnatic playing for gold.
Yeah, you can see immediate TP down into that bot side. I think the big question is whether Humanoid can get back out. They still have the TP for Wunder to get into position, but honestly, I think Mad Lions, they kind of need to be careful as well. Elyoya, no ultimate. Hilly, no ultimate either. They're still going to wait for some of those cooldowns to come back off.
They're going to be up soon, though. And look at Wunder and Razork. That's a really long time before those are up. Matter first to the pits. Fnatic went for that Herald with that Karthus ult. Is this going to come back to bite them? Fnatic are walking in. Can they find a way in? Can they land the poke? The face check through this. Is Mad Lions going to pull the trigger with the Maokai ult? When's the engage going to come through? Bit of a stare down.
Bit of poke here. Going to be hard to find the setup. Close to Ren should just secure the objective. Razork stepping up for a brief moment. Do they want to go for the fight match? No, the display now coming out with Trymbi on the 4. Hyilissang can't do anything to stop the engage, and Fnatic now playing for kills, but Chasy in the backside. Finally, the Carzzy comes to bear. Ulting onto Wunder, though, not the ideal target. Humanoid now going for the knockback. Mad Lions just retreating. They got the objective, they got what they needed, now they're trying to play it a bit slow. Nisqy for now uncontested, Wunder continuing to walk up. Noah on the backside, the one you need to watch. Humanoid has one back. Hilly! Anything you can do, he can match! As he finds his angle back into the fight, Humanoid now running for the hills, Chasy determined to get something. The soldiers will not find it. Razork is taking camps in the meantime. But keep your eyes on those Skittles, because he's looking to take the Emperor out of the play. Nisqy walks away, Hyilissang, headbutt pull, a little bit more in terms of base damage. Zooming away, Nisqy leaping in, Razork will fall. Mad Lions find hope in game 3.
It was about to be a disaster. It was about to be Fnatic with a date to G2, but Mad Lions shut it down, and Hilly, what a play from the support!
Is it a miracle? No, it's just Hyilissang. Anything you can do, I can do better. Well said, Drakos. Trymbi finds a great engage to kick off the fight, but in the long exchange of back and forth, it's Hilly that seals the deal. Maokai ult to secure. Trymbi doesn't want to let them get away with that ult being down. Razork doesn't have the level 11 yet. Big clump up, but a lot of dashes coming out from Mad. Knock up onto Carzzy. He's gone. The AD carry's down. And then Razork has to run for the hills, but it's Chasy that gets one, turns into this kind of 4v4 mess where Fnatic are all spread out because their carries are just so low HP.
Nisqy's positioning in this fight as well was amazing. Positioned up, gets a ton of damage onto Noah, but this play from Hilly, that's the difference maker. Sets up again for Nisqy, and even though Humanoid will end up having that Dusk Blade to keep himself alive for a bit longer, it only delays the inevitable.
Yeah, Razork tries his best to try and find a kill on to Nisqy, but sidesteps come in, misses 2 out of 3. And then combo onto Humanoid. Nice flash forwards by Nisqy. Doesn't want to risk dying here. Get that shutdown, get that kill onto Razork, and get that game back in your hands.
And no matter what team you're rooting for, you know, the Hilly smile after a good play is an EU classic.
Yeah, the game was in a really tough spot. You know, Fnatic blundered by not being on that Dragon, and they greeted for the Herald. Didn't really amount to much. Mad Lions punished. Nisqy no flash though. Wunder can look for the knock-up.
Glides back out to safety. Ult now coming out. Wall of Pain already managed to find the slow, so there's just nothing that Nisqy can do here. Clean and almost instantaneous punishment
Baron
coming out
at 5.
from Fnatic.
Baron's about to spawn. You have to try and find a way to stop this as Mad Lions.
Oh, this is risky. Fnatic, 20-minute Baron. They have the damage, but does Mad Lions have the answer? Yoya no flash. They have the Maokai ult. In comes the Kalista Alistar. They have a lot of CC here, Mad Lions. Just a case of getting the damage down. Wunder's going to tank it.
Chasy can try to get Razork out of the pit if he can find the angle. Chasy getting pushed back, decent damage coming through. Carzzy untouched on the backside, excellent engage to kick things off. Trymbi doesn't even find an angle. Trymbi gets absolutely nothing done. And in this fight, Hyilissang manages to outmatch. And finally, the Carzzy is unleashed. Mad Lions have come to play. And it's Carzzy who takes everything from Fnatic.
He shows up in the match against Fnatic. It was the Sivir, and now it's the Kalista. Penta-kill for the Mad Lions AD carry in the 4v5.
Every time you need this AD carry to step up, every time Mad Lions are down in the dirt, it's Carzzy who stands up and takes them across the finish line, and he may have just done it once again with that pentakill.
What a turnaround. You can say Carzzy with the penta, but you can also say Hilly for this game. 15 out of 16 kill participation, saved them on the Dragon fight. exceptional play around the Baron with the knockups. But it's Carzzy's positioning. Just keep the camera on Carzzy. Nothing else really matters. Watch Hyilissang, his partner in crime, goes in, gets the knock-up on the Trymbi, buys space for Carzzy, dodges from the crash down, then the pullback into the re-knock-up just gives him all the space he needs.
There's just nowhere for Fnatic to go. Noah's trying desperately to send in the Mystic shots, but they're all being tanked into the front line. And it just opens up for Carzzy to chase them down. Look at that. Look at that.
And if you need a driving force to get you back into a series to when you're on match point and you're facing elimination, that's something that'll give you momentum. If you can close this game out, everything is changing in this series. It's just a case of if Mad Lions can cross this finish line. They're ahead now. They're on soul point. 20 seconds on the spawn. Carzzy's going to push in with Nisqy. No summoners on the carries of Mad Lions, but they need to find a way into this dragon pit. Fnatic have a lot of poke.
Razork playing with fire, playing on the edge. Debatably playing a bit too far forward, but again, it's Hyilissang fishing for the flank, looking for the angle. Trymbi needs to find more effect in this fight. In the last one, he was rendered useless. Elyoya from the flank. This could be a beautiful Maokai. I'll take things off for Mad Lions. Trymbi trying to isolate, but right now Elyoya has gone unspotted, and here come the cats. That's going to be at least one, looking for two. Chasy untouched for now. Hyilissang finds the engage. Razork already dead right as the fight kicks off, but it's a beautiful ult onto the backside. It's a requiem for Nisqy, but he will stay standing. It is not enough damage, and Mad Soul in their sights. Fnatic will not let them have it easily. Noah untouched for now.
3v5.
Continuing to fire, continuing to step forward, unrelenting in the pressure he is putting down. Wunder will not stop as the frontliner slowly but surely they chip away a shock blast.
Oh, Carzzy's 1 HP.
90
life steal.
HP.
He's going to reset. It's a 3v5. If he resets, it's a 3v4. No TPs available on both the Chaseys. No smite on Fnatic, though.
They need to buy more time. They have to stick in this one. They cannot give away the soul. The game's all but over if they do. Mad Lions stepping up. Wunder getting lower and lower. Noah finding one. Fish in a barrel now. They need to engage. Nisqy does not find the angle. Noah makes his way out, but the dragon still stands.
They're on the way. The jungle supporter Fnatic have respawned. Elyoya needs to get out of here. He has no flash. The ultimate's up in 2 seconds. Carzzy's back. It's a 3v3 again. The stare down. Who's going to get the dragon?
He knows the only option left is to steal. Carzzy over the wall, but Noah in trouble now. Carzzy, can he do it one more time? Yes, Cassandre! Mad Lions! They find the angle. Carzzy right in the nick of time. Mad Lions will take the soul.
Just when you think they're down, Mad Lions come back into it. Carzzy off the reset immediately goes for his counterpart, and Noah is wiped. Fnatic are wiped, and it's soul for Mad Lions.
What a knock from Chasy, though. We'll take a look at the initiation. Hilly's flank doesn't really amount to much. Fnatic mark it off pretty well. I think the important thing here is the Q flashes on the Karthus, and Razork doesn't mind dying in these kind of fights. Noah's ultimate on the Ezreal. Look at this, goes straight through across onto both carries with a Karthus ult. So the poke is landing. It turns into a 3v5, but Mad don't have the tools to collapse onto Noah, so he pokes them out. And this is where the bold call was made. Watch Carzzy's health bar. He's going to go down to about 5% when Noah dashes forwards, I believe it is, or a shot blast lands. Here it is. Carzzy going to get extremely low. This call to reset is ballsy. That's your soul. But he's saying, Mad, guys, just hold them off. Just buy time. Just wait for me to come back. And they tried their best, and they managed to pull it through.
And it's just about how much space they can buy. Hyilissang using his health bar to push back Fnatic, keep them off the dragon. Chasy then stepping up, and Noah goes in, has the flash over the wall, but it sacrifices Humanoid as a result. And then Noah tries to hold this together.
Watch Chasy here, Q1. He's going to stack his Qs on the dragon here, I think it is. And then it's the knockback, because Carzzy great flank, but look at this from Chasy. Just going to E forwards, W through the Azir, just chase that Ezreal. And now we're in a situation where Mad's 10,000 gold up and they're ulting down mid-tower.
Mad Lions will not be swept aside by Fnatic. Continuing to push in. Hyilissang taking his 5, manages to land onto 2. Razork helpless in the fight. There's just too much CC. He can get nothing done. Carzzy up to the side, playing like an absolute madman. Health coming back, courtesy of the Ocean Drake, and he's still standing. Requiem, will it be enough? The wave being cut by Humanoid. Just trying to hold on, knowing he needs to buy more time. But Carzzy is legendary, and a Mad victory feels inevitable.
They have all the control they need. They have the wave in mid lane. Humanoid has been pushed out of his base. Fnatic might just be pushed out of this game.
Mad Lions breaking into the base. 2 members left for Fnatic. Death timers counting down. Trymbi up shortly, but the towers are just not enough. Mad Lions, it took a pentakill. It took Hyilissang giving everything he had, but they managed to find a way back into the series.
Mad Lions take their first step on the road to finals here in Montpellier as they take us to a Game 4.
They were almost down and out, but that is going to inject so much spirit into this team, so much energy. They're all smiling, everything's electric. It's anyone's game now, even though Fnatic's still up a game. Mad Lions, Chasy was in that game. He was getting himself involved despite not finding any success in the early game. Nisqy on the Azir. Hyilissang's making plays in a series like this. That's really scary.
Hyilissang was a monster in this game, finding the angles, finding the targets he needed to, and setting up perfectly for Mad Lions. And even when it was their backs against the wall, we started to write them off. What a turnaround play.
An incredible game. You've heard enough from us. Let's hear more from the Analyst desk about that nail-biting Game 3.
Carzzy is a powerhouse under pressure. I mean, what an insane performance from him coming back in this series with a pentakill of all things. That was just such an obscene play, and we have to look at it again.
Yeah.
Because that is a moment that is a reverse sweep moment right there. I don't want to get out there too early, but his face, the way it lit up when he got that pentakill was absolutely unreal. And this was a tough game. The scaling was going against them, but in this fight, Yamato, he stepped up.
Carzzy played beautifully. You know, I have to look at it from Fnatic's perspective too. They had the scaling draft, but they were rushing when they should have been dragging. They had a situation we got the pick off, and they just wanted to do the 20-minute Nash because it seems like they had a hot date or something, you know, in the evening, booked a restaurant, some beautiful cuisine. But Carzzy said, no, you better make the new reservations because I'm here to play.
I mean, I will say it did feel like that the story of the game for Fnatic was about overforcing at times. It started with that early crab that we saw. Then they forced they tried to overforce a couple of dragons, the heralds, these objectives where in the first two games they were very confident in their control. This time around, Mad had answers to actually fight back, and they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, Yamato, a word you used after the last game was discipline, and in my head I was like, okay, discipline, but it's really dangerous, you know, the game that Fnatic is playing. I think, yes, to a certain extent, but they play a risky game. And I think they found out, like, you know, you play around and you find out, you know. They,
yeah, that's the phrase.
That's the phrase. They found out, I think, in this one that Mad, they have hands.
Oh, 100%. I feel like this is very reminiscent of what we saw yesterday when Keiko was 2-0 up, and then all of a sudden the prep goes out the window because I feel like in this game they had the draft that was scaling better, and all they needed to do was take small wins and understand that an even pacing is a winning pacing, but they tried to rush.
They did, and to be fair to Mad, right, in the beginning of the game, this was much better from them. I think Fedius, they finally got off to the foot that they wanted to.
That they did, and again, I think a lot of it was just punishing the over-aggression. Ender and I were joking about it because when we used to play a lot of duo queue together, when he played the Karthus, he was like, I don't care about anything other than the farm. And this was an example of Razork greeting for the crab with Mad having prio and mid and bot punishing him for it.
Yeah, where his mid laner's trying to farm a big wave, his bot lane's doing the same thing, so they just get called in too late. On top of that, I think Mad Lions just navigate the fight super well. Hyilissang's kind of playing ping pong between Humanoid and Trymbi, and then waits for the angle where he can knock Humanoid into the wall, sets up for the perfect Azir ultimate. That was gorgeous.
As Yamato would say, Hilly Baba working some magic, Yamato?
What's that?
Mad Lions scaling, you know, they have had, you know, a history of just going through these gruesome best of fives. They reverse swept BDS, 2-0 down, and then they reverse swept. You know, they're smiling, they're energetic. This is a team that has been in every possible scenario, so it's very hard to ever count them out.
It is, and we've gotten a series now. I think we were ready to count them out. I think rightfully so with how those first two games went, and you said it. These are momentum plays, the way these things go in this game, right, Fedi? And you wanted to take a look specifically at one of the replays with us.
So this was a chaotic game. Let's not get it twisted for any second, because this was one of the pivotal moments, and we heard Yamato and Ender and then the whole desk talking about how they needed to slow things down. But Mad did a great job of getting these early dragons, and this third one, Fnatic felt forced to fight. So let's start the replay out, and I just kind of want to see how Mad positioned at the start of this play. They have control, Hyilissang doing what he can to zone, and then this Maokai ultimate's going to come out fairly early. Mad is going to lock this one in. Right, now pause it quickly here. The important thing to notice is that Fnatic's engage is a little bit disjointed. Remember that the way they want to be leveraging their composition is poke. poke from the backside of Humanoid, poke from Humanoid, poke from Razork, and then Razork can use his ultimate to chip away at the health HP bars. But he doesn't have his ultimate available. He used it at the start of this fight, and things at this point, once they go for the engage, are not going to go the way that they planned.
Yeah, Razork used that ult really early when they were dancing around the Herald because he thought it was going to help with that poke to get the Herald and the Drake, but Mad Lions still got a reset off and then made it to the Dragon.
So let's continue out with this play, and we'll see as, while it looks initially like a fantastic engage from Trymbi, the follow-up damage just isn't quite enough, and look at this spacing from Nisqy as well. He's kind of doing good damage on the back line. Chasy's able to buy a lot of time, but the health bars have been seriously damaged. It starts off with a 1-for-1, and then Fnatic, they overstep. They see a window here where they can punish Elyoya. They think they can get that initial pick. And then we pause it here, right? So you're going to see an opportunity. Oh, never mind.
Nice.
I was going to say, you're going to see this epic play from Hyilissang, the way that he saw the flash in, the two-man knock-up onto these low HP bar members. Oh, we got a reverse perfect.
Oh.
Play it one more time for his observers, because this play was fantastic. Hilly, he accumulated 17 deaths over the first 2 games. He made up for it with his performance in this game.
Can I puppet master you, observers, please? Can we go back like 15 seconds? I want to watch how Hilly is just dancing inside the fog of war around Trybrush. So go back like 5 more seconds, and you'll see Hilly, when he backs away here, he's just trying to hide outside fog of war. He could be in the bush to his right. Perfect. Let's roll this clip. He could be in the bush to his right now, to the left where he ends up going. He's always looking for an angle, playing just outside of that vision, and he waits until the last possible moment before he can set up that 3-player stack. Here's where he comes into vision, but still, he's dancing outside, making sure Wunder can't hit him with anything, and then it's there. He sees the 2 players come in. That is perfect Alistar play.
And just looking at this from like the holistic point of view, right? At any point during this fight, Fnatic could have said, yo, we can get 2 core, we can get level 11 on Karthus, play a fight where we have the ultimate, but instead, they chose to engage with a team that wants to brawl. They lost the discipline that we praised them for, and in that Mad Lions, they came out ahead big time.
Yeah, I mean, what a swing for Mad Lions. A crab. If anyone knows what the importance is of a crab in Montpellier, let us know, because we don't know.
We got crabs, we got lions.
I mean, there's water, right? So I'm sure. Anyways, another 40-kill game. So 122 gills.
Crab.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Kills over these last 3 games. That is insane, and I think we need to praise both sides for the wins they've had in the games. Is to find your play in all that chaos is the most important thing, and I think we're seeing that is definitely the most important thing today, and whoever can control that the best is going to become a victor here today and go to those grand finals tomorrow. But I feel like that's one of the hardest things to do in this setting.
One thing I will say is this Maokai, incredible value. At first I was skeptical of it because into the Karthus, we've seen what that Karthus can do into these like tankier matchups, but Mad identified that fighting is the name of the game, and this Maokai ultimate seems to prove instrumental in that.
Blue for Fnatic.
Oh, it's the first blue side game now for Fnatic, obviously, because they lost. You know, I just wanted to touch on the previous point before we move on about the draft. It's funny because Mad Lions, they seem to have the same approach to whatever the game state is. It's just the MLXG meme, no matter what. Oh, we're behind, we need to find the fight to bring us back into the game. Oh, we're even more behind, we need to find a fight that is going to bring us back into the game. Oh, we're ahead? Oh, I think we should be fighting. Oh, the game is even. I think this is just a time for us to take the advantage and get ahead. And then in that, if you respond to it with discipline, you'll find good fights. But if you don't, the swing meister is coming for you.
Oh, look, it's discipline, and it's also a few critical moments. Like, are you trying to hit me?
No, I don't know. I was mimicking
Bite you.
I was mimicking him. Anyway, this is what that series has been like. That's what I was getting at. So we're going to see how it continues. The Mad Lions, they find that miraculous win, even a pentakill, to bring them to Game 4. They still have a chance to save their journey here in Montpellier, but still Fnatic on match point. We'll be right back after this. Don't fight me.
Now coming in, Carzzy blinking low health bar, Hyilissang in trouble as well. That's the knockup now coming through. Noah manages to grab the kill. Noah on the backside, the one you need to watch. Humanoid as well. The punt back. Hilly! Anything you can do, he can match.
Rell dead. Kite back. Okay. Slow. No mana.
We win. He has mana now. I have locket, okay? I have locket. Penta.
No, just take, just.
Penta.
Let's go! That's what I'm talking about, guys. Reverse me, by the way.
Let's kill it.
Kill.
You're gonna make it! You're gonna make it, dude! Come on! Stay with, work with me here, work with me! We're nearly there! We're nearly there! Come on, let's go!
Oh, Trev. Help.
Mark, you've done too much, dude. What can I get you?
Give me that.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Are you guys being weird again?
He's trying to do it, but meanwhile they're in the base. Alistar's trying to defend them in the base. Pepe's trying to take the Nexus down. Is anyone going to be able to deal with this one?
A new era of European League of Legends.
Each game is inspired by movement. The drive is to be one move ahead of everyone else. To be legendary. Are you ready to make your move? Make it legendary. Join Kia at the League of Legends EMEA Championship.
Kia, movement that inspires.